And we're back for another episode of the Space Coast Real Estate Show. My name is Jesse. I practice real estate here on the Space Coast with eXp Realty. And with me in the studio, as always, John from Moving Mortgage. Hey, John.
LoanApplyApproved.com.
And Michelle Carpenter.
Inspiring home staging and redesign.
That's right. And together, we are the Space Coast Real Estate Show, bringing you all kinds of fun topics, discussions, and more regarding real estate here on the Space Coast, but also kind of universal knowledge. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about spring cleaning. Everybody's favorite topic.
Cleaning.
Even though we had the first, technically the first day of summer, but it's not too late to do a good overhaul. Mm-hmm. And by overhaul, it means, not just our regular chores, right? I mean, you're always doing laundry, dishes, mopping floors, wiping down things, but then you have to do a deep clean. Deep cleans are a lot different. Deep cleans require sometimes a professional, but we're going to get into some of the things that we all recommend. Someone who has a little bit more, I would say, kind of intimate knowledge, because you see so many of these people's homes. Michelle, I know you did a little bit more of a background, and this is something you also teach. It's like part of your curriculum. Tell us what a proper cleaning looks like to you.
Well, I guess that varies sometimes depending upon the situation, but very deep cleaning, a couple times a year. Right. In my household, it never took place in the spring because my mother was a school teacher and spring was usually pretty busy. We always did it the week of Thanksgiving. And before we could decorate the house for Christmas, we had to do a deep cleaning the week of Thanksgiving. So it was literally pulling things out of the way from the walls and doing the baseboards, the light fixtures, So starting out, clutter, I think we probably need to all reduce some of that in our lives, or most of us. They say Definitely. That there's been a lot of research on clutter and how clutter can really creates a lot of visual stimuli and can cause anxiety and depression and stress. It increases the cortisol hormone in our bodies. That's the stress hormone.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And so people that live in a cluttered home typically do have higher levels of anxiety and stress. Right. So there are some things, I've done some research and just in general in some of my teaching that we recommend decluttering. Yeah. And there's, all kinds of things that you can look at. Again, it kind of depends on each home and each situation, but I made a list here. Old electronics and technology. We have a little cell phone
Get
playing
out the
around.
sledgehammer.
Yeah, do a little stress hammering.
I like to smash them myself.
CD players, the VHS players, some of those kind of things. There's a lot of technology if you have like family VHS, movies, old family movies or CDs. You can have a lot of that recorded onto digitally, now transferred. Transferred over. So check into that, and then you can get rid of all those kind of electronics. And then, cable cords, all these random cords you have, chargers and stuff. And
for some reason, we all keep them thinking, one day we're going to...
Yeah. My mom and dad did that too. They had the picture drawer, and there was a drawer and had 1,000 or 2,000 pictures in it.
Yeah.
And one day I'll make an album.
No, one day my mom went in there and she separated them by kid, and she handed them all to us. And now that drawer is gone, and now they're all in our drawers.
In your drawers. Yeah. There's a lot of things you can do with even with the photographs. Digitally save those.
Scan them,
save them. You can create albums. They like with Shutterfly and different ones like that you can create. Something else that I keep saying I'm gonna do that's clutter. Like your kids' art. And all those cool little things they did in preschool.
But were they really cool?
But
it's sentimental.
But it's sentimental.
Yeah. You should see my refrigerator.
Yes. So
full of magnetic clutter.
Oh yeah. So scan those and save those. Maybe try to put a year, the child's age, or what grade and things like that, and those could be put into little booklets and stuff too.
Or even like a laminated collage of it all. And you get it. I use a lot of the it's a thermal protector. What do they call that? Laminating. Yeah. So you laminate it, and then you could pretty much put it in your chest or whatever else, or one more thing to the attic. But at least it's all together, and it's protected, so it's not going to fade. Because let's be honest, nothing really, old newspaper articles and all these things, they fade after time.
Leaf,
I have
a drawing on it.
I have a thing for ticket stubs from like old concerts, but the ink's like faded, so I couldn't even tell like what concert that was, But I'm like, so
I wrote this poem in high school, and my mom put it in her wallet, and about 2 weeks ago she pulled it out. Aww. That was like 45 years ago. It's been in her wallet.
Can you still read it?
She loves you.
It's still there.
That's love right there. That is love right there.
So some other items, those cool kitchen gadgets. You see them advertised on TV, or you go to the store. It's, those kind of gadgets that we see for the kitchen, or just even things around the home. We got to have it. We got to buy it. You buy it. You use it one time. You're like, well, it really doesn't work as good as I thought it would. Or, this works just as good in a regular knife, Right. So get rid of those kind of gadgets, whether it be in the kitchen or, just wherever. Many times they're not very useful. So
my wife just accused me of cluttering with appliances.
Oh.
Because I told her I want to buy an ice maker for, buying
the countertop
instead of
ice
buying
maker.
ice for going, boating and whatnot. And because ice can be expensive.
And that's a gift that keeps giving.
Yep, that's right.
Because you'll always have party, you always have to entertain, you always need. Ice is it's not one of those things where it's like it goes bad. You know?
I got smokers and grills and all kinds of cooking utensils and cooking apparatuses.
So do you have an Instapot, a crock pot, a pressure cooker, a bread maker?
No. I actually did get rid of all that stuff.
Okay.
I had an old conventional, screwed top lid that was a pressure cooker, old school with the and I got rid of that.
Got the Instapot.
And got an Instant Pot.
I don't have an Instant Pot.
I love it. Makes the best rice.
Yeah, okay. Plastic storage containers. Like the Cool Whip, the cream cheese, the sour cream. Not the cream cheese, cottage cheese.
I got an avalanche.
I have an opinion about that.
I got an avalanche. You open the door, it's like...
Yeah. And nothing matches.
No. Can't find the lid. You use it in the microwave, and it's really not good for you in the microwave to use that. Yes,
to use.
All those chemicals.
Especially if it's melted when you pull it out.
Yes.
You end up keeping it anyways.
Get rid of it, Rubbermaid, Tupperware make really
plastic.
Good ones. There's all kinds of other products out there that are
Pyrex.
That stack
but
neatly.
You don't need to keep your country crock.
No.
And your
butter.
Cool
Whip.
I know people who save their, because there's a lot of restaurants that use really good takeout. Like, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to clean it. I'm like, but do we really have to? Like, it is nice, but
Yeah.
After a while, it just isn't
you only need so many.
Yeah, when you got 25 of them, it's time to.
Yeah.
I will say my mom does keep some of the old ones, so my son, when he comes home from his dorm, goes to their house to eat. So she's like, I don't have to worry about getting the good stuff back. Okay, well, maybe in that, some of those cases, if you're helping feed someone else.
You keep 4 or 5. You
exactly,
only meal prep for 5
few.
days at a time.
Right.
Right.
Keep a few.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
Get rid of them. Throw them out. Knickknacks. We all have those little things, some people call them tchotchkes or just collectibles or whatever laying around, sitting around the house.
So silly. Look
through them.
I have beer
steins. Beer steins, yes. I can imagine.
I am not getting rid of those.
No.
Put beer in them.
We all have things,
You
right?
have things. Yeah. Keep some, maybe not all of your beer steins, but maybe the ones that are sentimental or that was on you bought on a special trip or some kind of memory that they carry. Keep those and get rid of the rest.
And I have a little hack.
Uh-oh.
If I find something like super sentimental that I can't get rid of, I usually gift it to a friend or a family member, and that way, it's a part of me, and it's now when I visit, I get to see it, and it's like a surprise. Like, oh my gosh, look at this thing. And it's in somebody else's, right? But it reminds them of me.
Yeah.
And it surprises me every time I go there, and I get to see a little piece of
That's
me.
really sweet, Jesse.
That is sweet.
And so it's just a little hack that I've done over the years, because I've moved a lot.
Right.
And it's always like I always purge, and it's like I don't want to get rid of stuff that has value, so I'll just gift it to a friend, and then the friend's like, oh, I still use this to this day. I'm like, I forgot about that. I'm so glad you've been, it's been for service for you.
Yeah.
And that way I didn't have to get rid of it, and also I have a piece of something from me to somebody else.
Right. Yeah, I've done that with some stuff. I used to entertain a lot more, and I've got a friend of mine that's my caterer, and
Right.
so I've given some serving plates and platters and stuff. Yeah, so it's nice especially if it's something that they can use and it's going to be helpful to them. It's
Yeah,
really nice.
I wouldn't I would just give them like random
Right.
wardrobe. I mean that makes no sense, But
Here's my sock.
yeah, here's my old winter jacket that doesn't fit me. I hope you could use it one day. No,
I can't find the other one,
Florida.
but
yeah.
here you go.
Exercise equipment. How many of us have exercise equipment? Weights, the elliptical, the bike.
We all walk into a lot of strangers' homes in our industry.
Yes.
How many times is that treadmill, elliptical, or whatever it may be used as like a coat rack?
Yeah,
Clothes rack.
I mean, literally,
all
like
over
people
it.
just. So we've all seen the same thing, right?
Oh yeah.
The buttons have a layer of dust on
Dust.
them, so you can tell no one's been pressing them.
That might shock you if you push it. There's a lot of, I'm not saying that quit working out or don't work out, but if you're not working out currently, you probably aren't going to continue, be using those items. Get rid of them, use that space for something more productive. And there's a lot of things you can do to exercise and to work out without having to use some of that bulky equipment too. We talked about when we were doing the technology, the Peloton and that mirror or whatever that's called, but those are space savers. But getting out and working out in your yard, it is really cool. Getting out, working in your yard, take your dog for a walk, just some physical exercise that's productive. That you're getting something done, cleaning your house, vacuuming, mopping, those kind of things.
And those treadmills, they probably have value.
Mm-hmm.
And there's somebody like a rehab facility or something, or even like a retirement home where people, they don't want to go outside, but they just need to walk a little bit. You could donate those things to a lot of people who would just love to.
Treadmills. When I was training, I could never ever
They're
treadmill.
a little dangerous.
I'd like to be outside on the road, actually going somewhere.
But sometimes it's inclement,
right?
Or maybe it's not a safe neighborhood. So for some people they have to.
Or they need to be supervised,
they want an option.
Monitored.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So again, it's some people have to learn how to walk. All the time. I mean, and sometimes a doctor's office or something else who may not have something like that. A quick donation, they would love to accept that from you.
Yeah.
So find alternatives instead of just putting it at the curb, because that was a Mom's Day gift or something. 5 or 6 years ago, it was used a handful of times, and so it still has value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing, talking about kitchen utensils a while ago, but sometimes even cookware or your knife set that's broken. You've got chipped tips on the knives because your son wants to use it for a screwdriver.
Or you never sharpened them, and now they're dull. And now they're just a hazard.
Yes, well, exactly. That's what research has shown, that dull knives are actually more dangerous than a sharp knife because you're 100%. Having to pry through stuff and chop and all that. But get rid of them. You may have cookware that's stained or that's dirty or it's chipped. The coated non-stick stuff, if those start to scratch, that's hazardous to your health because it gets into your food.
Yes.
So those things need to be just gotten rid of and thrown away. So a lot of times things like that get moved from house to house to house. If you're going to be selling and moving soon,
have an estate sale. But before you pack up some of these items to move it to the next house, don't waste money on boxes, on storage, on moving trucks of moving stuff that you really don't need or that don't need to be moved or kept.
There's like a rule of thumb. If you haven't used it in the last year, you're probably not going to use it
exactly again. So some of those things, get rid of some of that stuff. Your closets, pantries, those kind of areas, any cabinets, clothing, they say about 3 years. Sometimes we fluctuate in weight, gaining weight, losing weight. I'll fit into it again. But if you haven't worn it in about 3 years, they say get rid of it, donate it. If it needs to be repaired or whatever, of course, then you can repair it and donate it. If it's got holes, then trash it. Your food pantry. How many times do you go to the grocery store and you unload the bags and the groceries, and then stuff gets pushed to the back? That's probably
the
not
carb closet.
Yes. Probably some of those things are not that's expired, so go through that periodically.
Having worked in restaurants, it's called first in, first out.
Yes.
That's right. You got to rotate the stock.
You got to rotate it. So when you bring in your groceries, that's a culinary term that I used to teach.
Also a computer term.
When you bring in your groceries, whatever's already on your shelf, pull it to the front
and put the new in the back and then cycle it through that way. But sometimes we forget, and check those. Some other things. What else? What do y'all think? What would be some other things we could get rid of? Decluttering.
Well, I always consider, besides the exercise equipment, if the kid's outgrowing something and you think you may have another kid on the way or something else, we got to save, get the new kid toys, just like you got new toys for the first kid, get new toys.
Baby.
There's always going to be somebody who's going to be, aging out from something. I definitely believe in secondhand, but don't wait if it's been 5 years and you're not sure if you're gonna have a kid like that, those toys are already old.
I just had this conversation. I have a 10-year-old little girl, and she loves her little toys that she had her whole life.
Aww.
But I had to pull the dad card and be like, okay, there's just too much in here, so we have to. Maybe some other little kid could, appreciate this. I want you to go through your whole room and decide what you don't want and what you do want.
You give them,
and it's going.
Exactly, and that really helps.
Or else I will.
Especially for kids, if it doesn't fit on the shelf or fit in your bin or whatever, organizer. If it fits, it fits. But don't force it and break your toys, make it fit. But just pick your favorites.
No, I made her make all the decisions that way.
It's good. It's a good start and example on decision making too, because there's a lot of factors to keep in mind and to think about. Yeah, for sure.
And she decluttered her whole room. It was clean, and she was very proud that she's like, "Look, Daddy, my room.
I have more room to play, and more carpet, more floor space."
Exactly.
And not only that, but even when shopping in general, 2 out, 1 in.
Right.
So if you're and I think we talked about this. If you have 8 stuffed bears. And you wanted that really nice new one, well, get rid of 3 of them, and you could have the new one.
Yeah.
It really and then not only that, but it prioritizes the value of the older ones.
Right.
No, Daddy, I need this. He was with me for and then they'll figure out which ones they could do without if they really need that new one.
Right.
Yep.
When I was getting rid of my son's 23, and when I was getting rid of a lot of his stuff, when he was leaving to go to college, I kept the first. The first year, the first teddy bear, the first this, the first that, because I think that's what's really sentimental is it's the first, and then anything after that was not as
Went
sentimental.
In the fire pit out back?
No, I donated it. I donated it to other kids. But yeah, those kind of things, and even the clothes.
Those poor kids.
I
would feel bad donating my son's clothes.
And I say this, and I'm thinking,
puberty on them.
I really wish some.
They were clean.
The washer can only get so much out.
I would love to have just looked at my Transformers or Garbage Pail Kids one last time before they went in the trash, and I didn't get to make that decision. I think I moved away, and then somebody decided, we don't have enough space or whatever else, and all those great toys. Just stacks and boxes of
I had some good ones too.
Memorabilia
G.I.
and
Joes and
all of them, man. Oh man,
my dad still has my Barbie doll house. I think we finally convinced him to get rid of it not too long ago.
So it was up to him, not you. So I know nobody
he kept
consulted
it in
me
case he had a granddaughter
about my awesome collection of. I had
Stretch
88
Armstrong.
tops, 89 tops.
Those are valuable now.
Very valuable.
I know.
Yeah,
guys, and that so to this day, and a lot of us Gen Xers, went through this because our toys were tangible. It wasn't an app on a phone or a video game console with tons of stories, tons of characters. Our characters were, this is my G.I. Joes, and this is my Transformers, this is my GoBots, and this is my Thundercats, and and you had all these different worlds. It wasn't like just flipping a switch and then getting into that world and getting into those characters. Everything was tangible. So, but man, I just sometimes
heartbreaking.
Just be careful with decluttering and throwing out other people's stuff. And if they don't want that, if they give you the thumbs up, then certainly you have the liberty to. But I would hate to see like another person like lose, you know, and I mean
Right.
it's always something.
Very respectful.
You know, Pokemons or you know the
those things are getting valuable too. My son started collecting
all those
again.
collectibles. Yeah,
He's like, man, I wish I wouldn't have got rid of all those because you don't think about it at the
'cause
time.
like what Jesse said, a lot of that stuff's not even tangible no more.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's all gone virtual. So you know, I guess that kind of stuff won't be an issue.
Right.
But man,
Yeah.
but just
about-
be respectful.
Yeah.
You know, just one caveat so your kids don't hate you forever.
Yeah.
Jesse
Not
needs-
that I hate anybody.
I was gonna say, do we need counseling after this? No.
Yeah.
No,
something
but
else.
I
No,
guess
I'm
they
joking.
won't get
But just
over
think,
it.
I mean, I
But
had
yeah, it can be
I had
heartbreaking.
all those rookie cards, Cal Ripken. I mean, all these like
yeah,
like
those
all these
baseball
rookie
cards. Yeah. Something I've heard many parents say, you know, when I'm working with clients in staging and helping them declutter, I saved all my son's trophies, you know, from Little League, and I told them, okay, well, mom and dad are downsizing. We need you to come get all your trophies. They're like, we don't want those. So keep in mind, parents, sometimes, you know, and I'm speaking for myself, many times we're hanging on to things that we feel are valuable or that our child may want in the future, and they don't care. So ask them, like Jesse was saying, but sometimes, many times, oftentimes, we as parents may be hanging on to things that we think our kids may want or that we feel are valuable to them, and they're really not. Right. What we did is we took the little nameplate off, and then I think there is a place that you can donate the trophies back.
That's
to some nonprofit organizations and things like that
That's
that
very
use
smart.
those trophies and can have the plaque made. It's a little bit cheaper than buying the whole trophy. So that's what we did. You know, some things like that you can think about. So,
Yeah, I still have my varsity letters.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, some things you're just gonna keep. You know, especially I mean, you know, being racing. You know, 5Ks. I don't need a participation medal, you know, but if it's like, you know, something, an age group, you know, I got a top 3 in my age group or something of that equivalent, or it was just like a very special race. And I remember the training, and I went with buddies, and it was a
To me,
thing.
they
It was
were all
an
special.
event.
I kept all my medals.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
they all
'em.
have value in some way
I
or
got a
another.
little
Yeah.
medal.
But certainly, you know, if it's taking up room and
Display.
you really don't just get rid of the clutter. It's the first thing that, like you said, you know, it affects you mentally, and then you could be proud of the ones that really mean something to you, and not just
it makes those
water down.
It makes them more valuable.
I think so.
Yeah,
yeah,
it must. And then just when you do decide what you're going to keep as far as some of those collectibles and things, and that's what we talk about with our staging. Instead of spreading them all out everywhere, group things that are kind of similar together. Like, for example, I have my grandmother's sewing machine, and as I moved it to my house, it was kind of, you know, sentimental because I think my mom made her wedding dress on it, you know, and some things. Well, I was cleaning out some of the drawers.
I have one of those too, the table one that folds up from my grandmother's
and
mom.
I found a lot of really cool stuff in the drawers, like zippers and buttons and spools of thread and little scissors. I just created, I found a clear vase and put all of those things inside the vase, and that sewing machine is now one of my end tables in my living room.
Right.
And then that vase is sitting next to the lamp. So it's a collectible, but I kind of created a little setting, a little grouping of all those pieces instead of having them all
The
spread
one I
out
have
everywhere.
has a little bench, and inside the bench, the top
raises
comes
up.
off. And all my grandmother's sewing stuff was so I just left it the way it was and put the cover back on the bench and pushed it under there. It's really it's a real neat piece.
That is mine doesn't have a bench, so that's really cool. In order for the spring cleaning to take place, because there's a lot more that you need to clean, I'm sure, obviously. But I think the decluttering is a good start, because if you've got all this stuff and junk everywhere, it's hard to get down to the nitty gritty. You know, of the other stuff. All that stuff is in your way.
Yeah, get it off the countertops and wipe down the
countertops off.
And pull that stuff down to the floor, and then clean the floors and the baseboards.
Start at the top. That way the dust from the top falls to the ground. Light fixtures. Take those glass globes off if you've got any of those little crystals.
And air conditioning vents.
Well, let's be honest. We'll start with the lighting and the fans. Fan blades. Wipe them down and give them a polish. Give them, because a lot of that polish will actually repel dust.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so if you
and of course they make nice wood oil or something.
Maybe
lemon oil,
like a pledge
lemon oil.
You know, I mean, because advertisers like, oh, it repels dust, but at least it'll add like a nice little gleam to it, and and of course if it's made of some composite or even like a real wood, you want to keep that wood. Right, you want to keep that moisturized and not like super dry, especially if it's spinning all day.
Right.
That and and like you said, the globes, because we all know that it attracts insects, and then you could see an ugly globe. It's just like, and I've walked into a lot of homes, just like all of us, right? And there's always that really high one in a beautiful home with big tall ceilings, and it hasn't been touched. And it's got the webs and it's got the bugs, and it's like, I know it's going to take like a 20-foot ladder or a scissor lift to reach it, and I know it's not like something you would have done all the time. But if you live in a house like that, it comes with extra costs. Just like, if you get a bigger piece of land, you got more to mow, you got more maintenance.
Right.
It's at least a once a year thing.
You got to do it once a year.
Absolutely. And, obviously this needs to be done no matter what, but if you're getting ready to put your home on the market before you have any of us come in, these are some things that we're going to definitely tell you. So get a head start before we come there, so you don't, light fixtures, yes, for sure. Lighting.
So fans, lighting. You mentioned vents.
Yeah,
air vents,
conditioning vents, both floor and ceiling ones,
yeah.
But especially ceiling ones, because they get that little dust. On
the vacuuming of them. I had an air conditioning guy tell me a really cool trick. Take a small paintbrush, like a 2-inch paintbrush, and duct tape or electrical tape the bristles pretty close together. Leave maybe an inch or two of the bristles, but then tape down the rest of it. Makes it real compact and stiff. And that brush, you can brush that and then hold your vacuum up next to it, and that'll kind of help. But that compact, that brush, is quick, easy way. I was like, and it works. So,
what I've learned is that, so I noticed like our filters were getting kind of dark or black, and so I was trying to figure out what that was, and a lot of places said that if you burn candles in your house, the soot from the candles gets sucked up into the...
That's a lot of candles being burnt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, but also with, and then that goes with wood burning fireplaces, and sometimes people will keep the coal, like the ash, for a long time. Like, get rid of the ash, after winter, you don't need to see ash for the rest of the year.
There's smoke from cooking, too.
Yeah.
You don't have a good
grease.
Yeah, if you don't have a good hood or vent over your stove, and you're a heavy grease person, or you got a lot of frying food, then certainly that should be maintained all the time. Don't wait for it to like start dripping on your food, because it's so
potentially catch fire.
And I want to go over some kind of like emergency hacks, because these are things that people don't always think of. Yes, respiratory issues. If you don't get your AC cleaned, the ducts, and do proper
allergies.
duct cleaning, there could be mold, mildew, especially if you don't know the history of the property.
Right.
It's good to get somebody in there and do that duct cleaning. I mean, because you don't know how. I mean, some people have gone without filters, and and if the AC doesn't look like it's been maintained, then probably the duct work also needs help.
Yeah.
So I would definitely suggest that the air, the coming back from the unit is it's gonna be less odors and stuff like that, because dander and smoke and all those things collect in those vents, and a lot of people, it's not maintained, so it may not be a once a year thing, but it should be like
a couple 3 years
every so often. That and also the dryer vent, that little stretchy accordion aluminum piece, guys, it's like $20.
Right.
Like, you don't even have to like undo it from the wall and clean it yourself. Just replace the whole thing. And it's an easy maintenance, because a lot of lint will get in that and get trapped, and then the fire department has to come when it's it catches on fire. So not only is it a preventative maintenance to keep your home safe, but again, also it's just one of those things that's it's an easy fix. Like, there's no excuse. So, and if it doesn't have most outputs will be directly to an exterior wall, but some of them do have to travel through an attic space or whatever else. So just make sure if you don't know where that lint goes, and it may have to travel a little bit further, so not just between the dryer and the wall that you can maintain very easily yourself, but maybe we want to get somebody else,
Yeah.
in there because
They
that heat,
sell a tool.
that heat will
we've
travel.
all seen the inspector, who goes up in the attic and he
Mhm.
goes, "Oh, look at this," and there's lint everywhere, and it's just all up in the ceiling, and you're putting all that heat up into your attic space, and
you're supposed to have a tube from that going out.
Yeah,
Right.
To the
well,
top
a lot
of
of
your
times that tube, it comes loose, or
Gets disconnected.
there's a little crack, and
right.
it's just leaking out of there,
Right.
and all that lint just comes shooting out of there. So
It's
something
definitely
to
fire
check out.
hazard too. Yeah.
And of course, pool filters, all those kind of things. Some people just check the one little, dump lid,
basket.
the little basket, and that's like maintenance 101. That should be like done all the time, especially after like a good rain or something and leaves get in there. But also the filter itself. There's a way to get into the pump unit and make sure that's also. I mean, that's going to make your motor run more efficiently.
Yep.
It won't be stressed trying to pump through all this debris, and then you're looking at another big repair.
Right.
So cleaning isn't just for
just inside the house.
just inside. I mean, you really want to do smart things. Of course, the trees. It's hurricane season. I can't tell you how many people will neglect, just getting, and I know it's tall. It's a, big palm tree. We've all seen them, and it's like you just got all this gray. That's going to be debris that ends up on your neighbor's driveway or
screen.
or screen porch or something else. I mean, it's just going to be, a projectile. If a strong enough storm comes. So it's also landscaping. Replace bulbs outside. If you're, everybody likes those
Light
little
bulbs.
solar.
Yeah.
Powered little walkway lights, but as soon as like 4 out of 5 aren't working, like just pick them up and replace them. They're not supposed to last forever, guys, and it looks really awful when they don't work and they're just sitting there and the top's off and they have a lifespan,
right?
But get rid of them and of course
back the project car out of the garage, get all the 15 bicycles out of there and clean the garage once in a while too.
So
I'm the worst at that.
So tell us more about your garage situation, John. I don't have a garage, so I don't have to worry about these things.
Oh yeah, I got it. Well, I have a project car in there that I did, but now it's finished, so I can drive it out of there.
Well, at least you finished a project car.
Right.
I did.
I see a lot of people with project cars, and it's like one day. But now it's been sitting out with full exposure. You haven't waxed it. You haven't fueled it up. Who knows what else has gone wrong since then? Get rid of that project car. Your neighbors don't appreciate it.
Yep.
And you are going to love having that extra space in your garage or on the side of the house or, and I'm sure, ask a friend. They may have the means to restore it if you can't. And you may just make somebody's dream. Oh, man, I've been wanting that thing. And
well, my neighbors still hate my project car because it's really loud.
Oh. Is it street legal?
It's street.
What are you building?
What is it?
It's a 1990 Corvette that I put a very large engine in.
Nice.
And it's done. I just got to do a little bit of training work, but it's drivable and it's fun.
Street legal and all that.
Yep.
And so it's
But
not just
I do
cars.
have a lot of bicycles, from
right.
my triathlon days.
Again, if you're not using them, just
Get rid of
upcycle. People will pay a decent
You want me
price.
to get rid of my time trial bike?
Yes, if you're not using it.
I'm a pathetic.
If you haven't put on 100 miles in the last a month, then you're not really training on it.
Either get on the seat or get out of the saddle.
That's right. But this goes for a lot of things,
Exactly.
that boat that needs a lower unit. I see constantly people have these projects and they sit and they become just eyesores for your neighbors and everything else. And not for nothing, but there are some good nonprofits that will come. They will collect it, and then they'll give you a donation.
My wife said I'm not allowed to have 2 boats, and I was gonna buy a boat for her, and so I donated my boat. I'm not gonna sing the jingle, but we all know it.
Mm-hmm.
Cars for kids.
Yes.
So I donated my boat. They came and picked it up.
Yeah, and they give you either a nice write-off.
Yeah, got a nice write-off.
Yeah.
So
and they gave me a 2-day vacation on top of it.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a little free vacation out of the deal. I haven't used it yet, but
and I'm sure everybody appreciates that more driveway space, or I'm sure the grass loves seeing the sun again.
Greener.
Exactly. It's not just some gray patch or brown patch. And so there's a lot of things when you're talking about cleaning. Take a look around.
Yeah.
If there's that project you've been wanting to do, just make it happen. Clean those gutters. Repair that screen.
Clean the trash cans.
power wash the driveway, or if you have pavers or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of things to do that your home would appreciate, the loved ones, your family would appreciate, and your neighbors would appreciate, and ultimately, your property is going to appreciate.
Right.
So, like, do what needs to be done.
Right.
A lot of people don't like spending their Saturdays on home maintenance, and that's why, for me, I rent a room. I don't have to worry about any of this, but I do maintain the room that I do occupy. Yes. But yeah, certainly, that's why I tell people, I'm like, you really want to go into a bigger home? I mean,
that's a
not
lot
for
of
nothing.
work.
I'm looking around and, you're going to be able to hide more stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think George Carlin did a stand-up piece about that. He's like, we're at a place where I got too much stuff, so we need more space to put more stuff. Instead of getting rid of the stuff, we just get more and more
bigger
space.
house, yeah.
And before you know it, every single, like, I showed a home, and every single closet was to the brim, and it was like just pillows and like maybe not like collectibles, but like doilies. Like, it was really bad.
Doilies.
And there was just a lot of them. I mean, every single closet was just packed. I'm like, they hide it well, but it's still there. If you were to unpack it, it would fill a whole room from like ceiling to floor.
Yeah.
And it would just be like, oh my gosh, what is all this stuff? And it was, I mean, none of it looked like it was worth, more than 20 cents an
Right.
item.
I mean, Grandma may have crocheted those doilies and stuff, but still, you can only
but if nobody's
showcase
using
them.
it,
Right. You can, if you're going to keep Grandma's whatever, use it. Put it.
or keep two,
Or
and get rid of the 25 others.
Showcase it somehow. Do whatever. There's a lot of creative ways you could make it into
or
some
like
kind
I
of
said,
artifact. Or,
it's a hack.
Yeah.
Give it away to other family members who miss Grandma.
Right.
Why are you holding on to it and
Right.
not using it?
Right.
Somebody else, a cousin or somebody else, may really
That's a
Yeah.
very
have an
good point.
opportunity
or
to use
repurpose it. I did that at
Right.
my grandparents' house.
Make
My
a hat out of it.
No, it was some doors he had made. They enclosed a porch,
Right.
and the windows became like little storage closets because it was now the porch was a kitchen, and he enclosed the windows and he made handmade doors. And so we took the doors off when we had to tear the house down. And I, on front porches, how they have those like wooden picket signs or whatever, or the doors that say welcome.
Yeah.
We got able to get one of 4 of the doors, one for each of the grandkids, and so I made those for Christmas and put the welcome sign on there and everything, and gave those away for Christmas.
See, that's thoughtful.
That's cool.
It was like just a memory of our grandparents' house and things like that. So make some kind of way that you can showcase it in your house in a decorative way.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
all good tips.
Yeah. Inside, moving back in,
Okay.
you've got the outside clean.
Mm-hmm.
What about those floors?
Yeah, what about the baseboards
Baseboards,
and the chair rails
took the
and
So and
the
even
grout? What about the grout?
even going back to the ceiling area, we have some people who have very designer, homes, and there's that little, there's a tray ceiling, but it has a crown molding, and a light going around.
Yeah, the light
When was the
tray.
last time you looked up there and put a white glove test and did a white glove test? Right. So I mean, so some people have very hidden
Lots
dirt.
of tray.
Yeah.
So look for the hidden dirt.
And you think,
And the
where's
crown
all this
molding up
dust
top?
coming from? And it's all right up there. Any kind of air movement will blow that all around.
Well, and dust will even attach to a flat surface wall.
I've seen it. Yeah.
So wipe the walls down. You can take a broom, get an old T-shirt.
Do
I
we
s-
know
I
what
sw-
dust is?
I sweep my broom.
You sweep your broom?
Sweep the walls with a broom all the time.
Put a T-shirt over it.
Yeah.
And then just wipe it down.
Yeah,
And
it could be dry.
it could be
Yeah.
dry. Yeah, the dry T-shirt, but the T-shirt kind of helps to
We've all
collect it
heard
and doesn't scratch
stories
the
about
walls.
what dust is.
Oh, dust mites,
Skin and dust mites and
dead skin cells.
dead skin cells and
Yeah.
that's
Not
why you got to spring clean.
Yeah. But the more, crown molding is beautiful, baseboards are beautiful, the chair rails, all of those kind of things, but that does collect a lot of dust.
Not for nothing, a Mr. Clean eraser
Yes.
makes instant work of baseboards.
Yes.
Yeah,
But you
those
got
are
to
the
do
best.
it. And,
And it gets a lot of stuff off.
for somebody who's actually detailed hotels, I worked as a residence inn, as the resident, nighttime janitor. So I had to vacuum the whole hallway. I had this really cool product called Steel Tone, which is a steel polish, and that, do the whole elevator and everything else, and
steel tone
amongst other things. Yeah, brass polish. So if you have some things, and people don't recognize that the door handles, doorknobs, they
light
collect
switches.
They collect a lot of stuff.
It's all about the details.
The base plates and what they call the kick plate. So a lot of, for instance, like restaurants, people, their hands are full, so they have to kick the door open. Well, there's a plate there, and you have to maintain it. You have to clean it. Otherwise, there's going to be all these like dark shoe markings, and especially like in a high traffic area, or I don't wear shoes in a house. I don't believe in that. But if you do, guess what? It's probably going to be kicked. Especially with pets and kids, holding the corner as they turn and they're running through the house and everything else. Like those corner of the walls, again, the base plates, people kind of ignore them. That we walk past them all the time, but they're supposed to be like a white or bright color, and it shows markings.
Oh,
and so
my kids,
even your interior
little
doors,
greasy little hands.
Yeah.
I always notice that on my kids' doors.
Bottom of the doors, I promise anybody who's watching this or listening,
I know exactly
pay attention
to
the switch plates on for your lights, and look at the bottom of all the doors in every bedroom. I promise they're gonna have markings, and
especially coming in and out of the garage, like the laundry room. If you got your hands full of groceries, you push that door closed.
I talk to my son about that all the time. I'm like, how do you get the bottom of the door dirty? And he's like, well, I don't know.
He's got a puppy.
I'm gonna watch him. And
I noticed that with a puppy.
Yeah, it's probably the dog shoving his head. My dog shoves his head in there to get in there.
Yeah, mine paws the door when she comes in. He wants to come in. If her door's close to the bedroom, she'll paw the door. She wants to go in.
But I noticed my son does use his feet to open the door if his hands are full. Yeah. He's coming home from school. He's got a second hand. He kicks the door open.
And for extra credit, ask the loved one that you share the home with, what are like top 3 things that if you did would make their day? People neglect cleaning the fridge out. Clean that fridge out. Take everything out of there.
Those shelves come out too. You know that, right?
A refrigerator is designed to be clean, guys.
Refrigerators, the drawers,
you can take the whole thing apart.
Shelves come out.
If you
look
at your butter, like your butter shelf, we all have the butter shelf. And if it's like caked with like anything but a clean surface, a lot of butter
pops right out, and you can put it right in the dishwasher.
All of it can.
Yeah.
And
I take it to the bathtub.
I remember one time I was living in a house that had the little egg.
Yep.
You put the little egg tray. Well,
egg cracked.
You move the egg out, and those things collect like just crumbs and dust and whatever else.
Yeah.
But that vegetable drawer. I mean, pull it out. I guarantee some spinach wilted, and how spinach turns brown and
goop.
Yes, we all know what we're talking about, right?
Goop.
Clean that refrigerator. You're gonna find things that are science projects. You're gonna find things that you probably
mysteries.
The mystery box. You're just do yourself a favor. I mean, and this
when we first started talking about this show, it was the first thing I thought of. Like, man, I gotta clean the refrigerator.
I shouldn't. I mean, and I hopefully this this falls on deaf ears, or people like, oh, Jesse, I already did it. But I guarantee you there's gonna be a listener like, oh, I've been pushing that can, like I've been kicking that can down the road for a long time.
There's one on the show.
Yeah.
Me.
And only that, but I guarantee if you look at the seal around the door as well, it traps all kinds of stuff.
Right where the crack is, where it like accordions.
It's like an accordion,
gasket,
yeah.
So wipe that down again. Adding a little bit of moisture or soap, it'll prevent it from getting like super dry, because those gaskets, they do expire over a certain amount of time. Anything rubber.
If you keep them clean,
I clean mine with
longer.
vinegar.
That's a good.
Vinegar. I've actually been told by a home inspector that vinegar kills mold better than Clorox. And it's better for us than natural. Chlorine. It's better for us too, for the odors and stuff.
Honestly,
natural.
I don't see any benefit to having a chlorinated or bleached product in a house, unless you have someone who's either sick or something of that nature, and they need like a sterile environment. Otherwise, vinegar goes a long way as far as just a good
the only thing I use bleach for is like if you like you get like a fish smell in a garbage can or something like that.
But vinegar
I'll
works
put some,
too.
I never tried vinegar, but I always put like a bleach water mixture in there to get that
vinegar
really
and lemon juice.
And that goes that goes on to another remedy as far as like decluttering. We all have that kitchen sink cabinet, and it's filled with cleaners. I guarantee some of those products are probably expired and they don't work.
Yes.
And
they've been in there for years.
I mean, like those old sponges that you think you're going to use for another project or something, or I'm going to detail my car with my car wheels, and we all keep like those old sponges. Like, get rid of all that stuff. Get rid of that stuff.
Bacteria
replace all of the if you have like an ant problem or insect problem, and you have traps, replace those traps every like 6 months. I mean, there's I feel like this is like kind of common sense, but I have a lot of listeners going,
well, it's easy to just forget about them or overlook them, neglect them. It's easy to like lose track of, hey, when did I do that last? I don't know. It seemed like 6 months ago, but it actually was, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
exactly.
We kind of bypass floors. Do you not like to vacuum?
So I've love vacuuming as long as it's a good vacuum.
Yes.
But I've vacuumed enough restaurant dining rooms in my time where I think I got my retirement medal. Like I think I've
You've elevated past vacuuming.
I think I've graduated vacuuming.
I mean, carpet, a lot of people still like carpet in the bedrooms, but it is an allergen, collects a lot of that dust. So if you do have carpet, make sure you have a really good vacuum cleaner, deep cleans.
I'm done with carpet.
Yeah, we're getting ready to pull ours
But you know
out.
what? Even area rugs.
Area rugs.
When was the last time you took it out and gave it a good beating?
Well, I got a dog, so we gotta clean ours there. Also, it'll get pretty ripe. But
sometimes it's better just to get an inexpensive one and throw it out and get
we got one of those carpet cleaners, so we really clean it deeply.
Yeah, deep clean.
Do it like once or twice a month. So my wife
so all
like,
those carpets
smells. You better take care of that.
They trap odor.
Yeah.
They trap dander. They trap even like
dog hair.
Even like the
dust.
The bathroom mat that you get out of the shower.
Yeah.
It gets wet and then dry and wet and then dry.
Yeah.
Over and over. Peel that thing up off the floor if it's not already like stuck to the floor.
Yeah.
We are good about that. We change that thing like once a week.
Even just an accidental, like on a carpet. We have carpet and we have a puppy, and she likes ice cubes. But she always goes to the carpet to chew on her ice cube.
What is that about?
I don't know.
My dog
like eat it over the bowl.
Exactly, or on the tile. But
you give him a treat, and he goes straight to the
carpet. But if she happens to leave a little piece of the ice, and it melts, and it's water, but the water then is going to absorb dirt if we walk past it or over it, or just naturally, it's going to absorb, so it's going to cause a water stain.
It's going to clean the bottom of your shoes.
Yeah, pretty much. So those kind of things. Water definitely, or any kind of spills, clean those up. Off of the carpet, but. A great product that we're actually getting ready to put into our home is the luxury vinyl. And, tile is...
I love it.
It's great.
That wood look tile is beautiful, but it's hard on your feet. It's hard on your back.
Well, here's a big caveat with tile. One little piece, you drop a glass or something, and it cracks.
Yes.
And then you got that one piece with a line through it, and you promise, you're going to get a professional over there, and they're going to chop at the the grout, and then they're going to chop at the mortar, and they're going to pick it up, and then they're going to remortar, and then regrout. No, it's going to be neglected. It's never going to get fixed.
Sometimes they accidentally break another tile next to it, trying to get that one out.
Exactly.
Accidents happen.
There's always anyway. That's just a big caveat.
The luxury vinyl is great in every room. It's still not recommended in the bathrooms because so much water and moisture, potentially pipes underwater.
Well, if they're floating with a cork bottom.
Yeah.
Maybe different.
We have it out on our patio with our pool, and it's lasted a long time, but it has kind of started to
buckle,
like, not buckle, but
warp.
Just warp a little bit, like it's kind of raised up in the middle.
Yeah.
And
well, water can still seep underneath it, and with the cork, what they're saying now though is the cork can absorb the moisture and create mold too. Yeah. So if it does ever get completely flooded. Though. Yeah,
I don't know. I've never seen mold on. I mean, I have seen mold, I guess, but it needs oxygen.
Yeah.
Because just like cork, seals a bottle.
Yeah.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're not losing
true.
wine. I mean, there's 50-year-old bottles of wine, and it's not porous, and it's certainly not moldy unless it's been stored wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, at either a hot temperature or something like that. But if it's stored at so it really depends.
It has a sealant if it's sealed good.
Yeah, but so not all corks
it can
are
be beautiful though.
Yeah.
And if they're treated with like an anti-mildew or anti-mold treatment, so that's where luxury vinyl is different than just a laminate.
Right. Yeah. Right. And there's a lot of different products out there, for the luxury vinyl.
My brother does
quality level
home renovation type of work down in Palm Beach, and he showed me some cork homes floors that he's done.
Oh,
just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Cork on the top. Yeah.
Cork flooring. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So neat. Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it in. Yeah.
After it's all sealed in, it's just
nice.
That sounds top notch.
Yeah.
Top notch.
Yeah.
Nice. I've seen the bamboo and stuff too.
Ooh, well, bamboo is great for Florida too.
Yeah.
You know, because that's natural.
It's grass. It's renewable.
Yeah. Not only that, so your carbon footprint's a little less and pretty easy to maintain, and it looks really sharp. Too. Yeah. Takes a beating.
Yeah.
Anything other points that we need to make?
Let's see. I'll check my list.
Well, I mean, clean. Yeah. Springtime. Spring is almost over, so.
Windows.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about windows.
Interior, inside and outside.
Yeah, and I want to think that probably most people will Windex the inside of the window, but when's the last time the exterior has been like especially cleaned? Like with a good like power wash.
Right.
I mean, because a lot of times, especially if you have like a window that opens, not just a solid, piece of glass, but if it actually has an opening mechanism, guess what? In that traps a lot of dirt, a lot of dead insects, things that tried to get out but couldn't, or things that tried to get in but couldn't.
Right.
It all lands right there.
Well, when you power wash, but shouldn't you take your screens out when you power wash so that you can really get to that and then get that track cleaned?
I probably wouldn't power wash at full intensity.
No.
So you just want to do a light
up off of it. Not like right close to the
not
nozzle.
a direct spray.
Right.
But
to clean that track.
So for me, I always start with a vacuum. Start dry, because
do this on the inside.
A lot of stuff that will just lift up, and you don't have to really worry about it.
Right.
The stubborn stuff, you may want to get like a toothbrush or other something else small, Q-tip, and really detail it, and depending on how horrible it is. I'm sure a lower level window is going to be a lot dirtier than a higher level window. So not everything's going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I neglected that. But I guarantee if you open it and look, and you're going to be like, wow, because when winter does come, and we all love to open our windows here in Florida and save on the AC cost, guess what?
Yes,
that air is going past all that dust, all that dirt
blowing
into your
your
home. Exactly. Yeah, you get the point.
And a lot of times the windows are made, depending on the manufacturer, but a lot of times they're made where they just pop and flip inside the house, so you can clean. If you want a nice. Yeah, I find just
a quick vacuum will lift most of that dirt out. But
the window pane, the glass, instead of power washing it, because sometimes the power washing may leave a water film.
Especially if it's a fragile piece of glass. I'm talking like
single pane door windows.
Yeah, I'm talking more like the hurricane, they call it hurricane resistant or impact resistant. They're really not. I'm sure a rock will take down any window. But if but at least it's like insulated, and maybe it won't shatter. It may just crack in spider web. And I think that's more of what it's shatter resistance, not really like hurricane proof. But like, I got hurricane proof. I'm like, there's no such thing as hurricane proof.
It's almost like
your roof gets lifted off. Guess what? Everything in that house is being destroyed by the hurricane, including the windows. So it's like it's just one of those things where, keep an eye on it. And that's maybe like and definitely before. Winter comes around and October starts, with those cool nights.
Make sure.
Do another follow through. So I would say like twice a year.
Yeah. Make sure your screens are intact. There's no tears and all that on the window, on the screens too.
Because insects will find a way in. They're small enough.
Yeah, they will.
So even with like the smallest tear, they will get in.
Yeah.
I think that just about covers it.
I think it just
doors,
about covers
windows. Gutters, screens,
dusting your furniture,
pool.
Just dusting your furniture. Pledge makes a really good product that it's actually a multi-purpose we keep in our toolbox for cleaning, for staging. It cleans glass, marble, or like granite. It's multi-surface, so it cleans the wood. For like wood furniture, it cleans mirrors and glass and the stainless and the granite. So it's really nice.
Oh, and
product.
If you have leather furniture,
leather,
you
keep
gotta do
that
some leather conditioning,
conditioned and
some nice.
Yeah.
Good leather.
Your electronics, keeping the dust off of the electronics.
Yeah, a little bit of compressed air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't talk about stoves.
Well, I mean, I think most people probably clean that stove, the oven to self-clean, a couple times a year. If not, here's one thing about the stove. Look in that very bottom drawer.
Yeah.
Lift those items up. Give them a rinse every so often.
Yeah, and clean that drawer.
Because everything's fallen into
clean that drawer out. That can get nasty in there.
Yeah, and if you have the old-fashioned coil electric stove still, that top layer of your stove, that metal piece lifts up. And a lot of times food will kind of
you can get all in
collect down in there. We moved into a new house.
Pull the elements out.
Yeah.
Replace those little trays.
It's
below the elements.
I did that for an apartment because I felt like it was like really neglected. Those little metal trays
they're all
get burnt and I found, like, I went to Ace Hardware and I saw them. I was like, this is my adult moment. I'm gonna grab them and I'm gonna replace them, and I replace them. And
I got a whole set.
And I pulled the elements right off, and and I detailed the whole thing. It's
like a brand new stove.
Like, and it wasn't like a secret. It wasn't like a mystery stove. Like, if I cook on this, like, what weird things are. And I felt even more confident to clean or to cook on there. And I felt like cleaning was a breeze because I know how to replace it. I know it all comes apart.
Right.
It all lifts up.
Yeah.
It's real easy. Yeah.
We moved into a house once before. It was a used, new to us, but a used house and existing. And I kept smelling an odor in the kitchen. I'm like, man, I've cleaned this. We even put in new flooring. And I realized it was that stove, the lid, the stove top. The previous owner fried, I guess, a lot of food, and that grease just kind of collected down in there. And I was like, once I cleaned it, the smell was gone. I'm like, okay, that explains it.
Yeah, that
microwave, the microwave hood vents. There's a vent filter up there too.
That
little metal thing that needs to be replaced and changed because that'll collect odors and stuff too. So lots of little things that sometimes we forget about.
And if your fridge doesn't communicate, if you don't have a smart fridge,
my fridge is down.
It'll say it'll let me know when to replace the water filter. If that component, you haven't heard the water filter alarm go off, guess what? That component may be bad, but that filter still needs to be changed out. It may not warn you no more or make an alarming sound, but it still needs new filters. So. And of course, I hope this is common sense, but also the AC, the return.
AC filters,
make sure that should be every month.
Yeah,
but hopefully that's common sense.
Yeah. Garbage disposals. Pour a little baking soda down in there.
Yeah.
And even your sink drains, your shower drains, your tub drains, pour some baking soda down there and then vinegar over it. Yep. It's kind of a science experiment too. The kids really love it because it lava and foams up, But that's a great way to disinfect those garbage disposals, the sink drains, shower, things like that.
And if you put ice in there, it sharpens the blades.
Oh, yes, that's true too. Yeah. So.
I learned that. I don't know how, but I did.
I just put like just little wedges, not a whole lemon.
Right.
Just a wedge of lemon
or
every so often, and
orange.
it freshes. Makes it just gets rid of that old
orange
odor.
Slices and when we have oranges, we'll put the orange peels in the garbage disposal.
Usually, just when you empty your margarita. Just empty it right into the garbage disposal, turn it on, then you get the ice and the lime and and the citrus and so it's like
it's a reason to
I did
drink
like
more
a cleaning.
margaritas.
I just cleaned with my margarita.
Garbage disposal feels good.
On that note, I think I want to go get a margarita. So any closing
well, I would say that sometimes people really hate to, clean, but it can be very, very satisfying.
And very refreshing. Yeah.
At the end, you get it all done, you get a sense of accomplishment, and you feel good about, where you're staying, and it can be very
And
satisfying.
I know a lot of times people ask about professional cleaners. I don't know of one. That's, there's a lot out there, but sometimes it may be worth the cost to have someone that comes in just on a regular basis to do some of those daily cleans, especially if it's an older, a couple that or an older person that may not be able to do that a lot of times.
Or have that service come in like once a year and do a deep clean.
Yeah. Especially for elderly or people that are not able to do
not
it.
Everybody can do that work.
Because it's all about not just making your house look good. It's taking care of your home, but it's also taking care of yourself. Health problems, physical, asthma, allergies, but then that stress too.
And since they do it all the time, they can do it quickly, and they probably know
they got
things.
The tools.
They got the tools, and
they bring in a step ladder. They
know things that you might overlook, and they'll it's second nature to them. So it can be definitely useful.
Yeah.
And I'm filled with contacts if you're looking for a professional cleaner.
Yeah,
so
I know some too.
Definitely reach out. Again, my name is Jesse with EXP, 321-877-8737 for all of your real estate needs. John?
I'm John Maselli with Movement Mortgage, loanapplyapprove.com, or you can call me at 321-266-0703.
Michelle Carpenter, Inspiring Home Staging Redesign. Our website's inspiringhomes321.com. Phone number is 321-806-6543.
And that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.
Go clean your house.